Give me 1 minute. How is everyone today? Just making sure everything's working. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. Give me 1 sec. Having an issue here. There we go. Alright. Get my screen here. We are good to go. Okay. Alright. Alright, how is everyone today? Perfect, that worked out well. Alright. Alright. Now I want to go over to my creator dashboard. Alright, welcome everybody. My name is James Terzian. I'm the streamer that has been streaming old games for a while. I've been also playing Kingdom Hearts game. I live in Maryland. The other thing is I am a wow, this is much easier in my head. So as everyone's aware, my name is James Terzian. I do live in Maryland. I've been gaming since I've been a child. My first system I ever got was a Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Was what I first had. My first game was actually a Tetris on that Game Boy. So my other thing is, so then after that I had a Super Nintendo, not a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis. I actually never had a Super Nintendo at all. So a lot of the games that were on there I have not been able to play unless I went over to my babysitter's house. Now, if everyone's interested, I do live in Maryland. I was born in Ukraine in '87. That puts me at 34 years old. My birthday is in May. And let's begin. So the first thing I've done is I've always loved dealing with people, whether it be the public or anybody else. I personally have enjoyed customer service. I believe my first stint with that was at a nursery in Fredericksburg. That was my first job. My dad got it for me in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Granted, I visit him every other week. My parents are divorced. It is what it is. To answer your next question, I was born in Ukraine. I am not a naturally born citizen of the United States. I came to this country when I was 5, so hence why I speak perfect English, but my Ukrainian, I don't know any words in Ukrainian or Russian. With that said, the games I've played recently, a lot of them are retro games. I have started the Pokemon Unlock games. Basically, the rules are when your Pokemon faints, it is considered not usable for the rest of the game. You got to release it on the spot. My first attempt at that was a complete failure. It was Pokemon Emerald. I lost at the first gym. However, my favorite game series is actually Kingdom Hearts. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fanboy. I'm proud of Kingdom Hearts, and it is what it is. Pokemon is one of my top games, but it is not the favorite game I have. The difference between is Pokemon is the set formula. Kingdom Hearts switches repeatedly. They add new stuff and they sometimes change the formula. The next thing is I personally work in retail. I've done that for years. I've probably not worked in retail for 2 years. Those 2 years I was in building service. Let's see. I worked at a school system. Great pay, great benefits. However, I found it boring. I found it mundane. I personally did not enjoy it. The pay was excellent. I was getting paid at least 3 times what the minimum wage was, or twice as much. It was great. Benefits were excellent for a school system. But I was bored. It was basically the same thing every day. It was cleaning the building. I had a section I had to clean. I had to deal with a bunch of teenagers. It was not fun. Now, when I was in school, I have part college education. I did not graduate college. I did graduate high school. My favorite subject in that was history. I'm a big history nerd. You can ask me anything about United States history. I will probably have an idea of what the answer is. My least favorite subject was science. I just never got the grasp of the science. English. I've struggled in English despite me writing 3 books. I was horrible in English. That was one of my weak areas. Just one thing is, I do have a writing disability. I am mildly autistic. I am proud of the fact it is part of who I am, and you should. I'm not ashamed of it. I've worked hard to overcome a lot of that. On to other matters. If anyone has any questions, please speak up. Anyway, on to other matters. I do have 3 books out, 1 comic. The series is The Lord of Shadows Rises. If anyone is curious, the link is in my bio. It's The link is in my bio. With that said, the link is in my bio. It's Amazon.com. Unfortunately, I only got 2 copies of it on paperback. The other one is giving me an issues. It is the reason for it is Kindle Select is kind of being a dick. They are making it so I can't print it because apparently my cover is completely different from the other 2 books, which is that should not be. I can actually show you what one of my books looks like. It is The Lord of Shadow Rises. And I have another book, The Lord of Shadows Redemption. And the last one, The Lord of Shadows Sacrifice. You know what? Let me get this a little closer in here. There you go. This is my first book. It is my joy. I worked somewhat hard on it. The editing was shitty at the beginning. I had to get a decent editor. It was not fun. Unfortunately, I am struggling to write. I have a horrible case of writer's block, which is a big issue for me. Let's see. Now, on to what I like. My favorite part of history would actually be always American history. I love military history. Those are my 2 top history subjects. I my thing is military history. I am a big Civil War. Civil War. I love learning about it. I always believe we can always prevent it if we just learn from it and how to prevent it. The worst president was the reason we had the Civil War. James Buchanan, he did absolutely nothing to stop it and basically left it up to what's his face, Abraham Lincoln, to fix everything. James Buchanan, I am ashamed to be named James because of him. I am really not though. So I do play a lot of games. I'm a big Pokemon nerd. I love Kingdom Hearts. I play a few RTSs, real-time strategy, and turn-based strategy. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh when it was popular. So that's number 1. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh player. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh. I used to play Pokemon when it first came out. And if I had any decision of where I wanted to visit, the top will always be United Kingdom. I don't know. I just found that country fascinating. I want to go to England so bad one day. I think it's got so much history. One of my favorite countries to visit would be there. I went to Greece already, so that's been notched off my bucket list. The other place I would like to visit would be probably Quebec in Canada, because that's probably as close as France as I'm ever gonna get, and probably Japan just due to the anime. Speaking about anime, I do love anime as well. Obviously, from how many games I played, retro and others. My favorite has always been Dragon Ball Z, the original Funimation dub. Funimation dub is probably one of the best dubs I've ever heard. Just the only issue I had with that is the time and the fillers needed for it. It was an absolute pain to get through. Sorry. With that said, Public speaking has always been really bad for me, so if I ever go in front of people, this would be a good way to practice. I thought let me have you all suffer instead of other people that pay to actually see me. Um, I also believe in anyone who wants me to follow them, I will follow them. I believe in supporting fellow Twitch creators, and I am a big YouTuber. I love YouTube. I play a lot of different videos. I'd say my favorite is definitely Team 4 Star. They are probably what I like the most, and Nuzlocke is what gave me the inspiration to do my own. Thank you, Masako X, Kieran, and Grant. You three are excellent at Team 4 Star. It is a great honor to have you all help me out. So I am a great fan of Team 4 Star. They are probably some of my favorite YouTubers. My others, I'm a big Epic Rap Battles of History fan. I love Dash EXP. There are many great YouTubers. You just gotta search what you're interested in. And that also pertains to history. I am a big fan of a history teacher named Mr. Beats. He does a lot about US history. Great guy. Great content. I mean, I learned a lot. I learned more from him than I did in school, and I usually studied a book just for the fun of it. Now, onto jobs. As you're aware, I do work at a grocery store. I work in retail. That's why my Twitch content is actually irregular, and I don't really follow my schedule very often. Today, I am off. It was snowing today in Maryland. The fun part was I had the day off. I had to work yesterday. Anyone who's in Maryland knows how insane it is when they call for a snowstorm. Even if it's gonna be a few inches, people get crazy, and being in a grocery store is the last thing you want to be working at. I'd say I was in the deli. I had a bunch of things to deal with. I did not have time for people to argue with me about deli meats. I am a very kind associate. I try to be gentle with everyone. My grocery store, Giant, is near an old folks community. I try to be the best employee I can for their sake. If they cannot reach over to the counter to get their food, I will go around and hand it to them. But when I was in grocery, my main job has always been cashier. I just started deli recently, and this is my first time doing deli, and I personally enjoy it. I do apologize for the constant head shaking, the looking away. Unfortunately, this is my first time. But anyway, I do have a question for my viewers. First, anyone who's there, just give me a heads up. Anyone here from the United States, and if so, what state? Please do leave a chat note. I am curious about that. And if you're not in the States, what country are you in? I'm very curious. Let's see. Okay. What else? I think that's all the questions I had. Now, let's see. We have, as you're aware, I do love customer service. The only reason I left the CPS school system building service is I was bored and it was just not entertaining. I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but I miss getting yelled at by customers when I was there. I was just so bored out of my mind. Granted, the holidays were nice, but it was just not fun. With that said, in terms of professions, I will respect all teachers, heads out to all teachers, firefighters, police officers. You, your three professions make this country great. Soldiers as well. Doctors, nurses, you all are doing great. Keep up the great work. Stay strong. My mom is personally a former teacher. My sister is a teacher. I know the stress they go through every day, every year, every month. It is not enjoyable sometimes, but I truly believe that teachers are meant to help people. They are meant to be the saving grace for students who need it. So, yeah. Now, on to other matters. I am curious. Anyone interested in any games you want me to play? I am using a Retro Arc. It is a ROM based emulator, so I will be downloading games repeatedly. Um, and if anyone has any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I do this not for the money. I would like to get some money from it. My main goal is to entertain. I have a job, full part-time job that I do. I enjoy it, and even if I were to make millions of dollars, I probably won't quit it because I need something to entertain myself, and this doesn't do it all the time. So I do work in retail. I do customer service mostly, but now they've moved over to Delhi. Now, on to my former jobs. I have worked at McDonald's for the hardest job ever, a McDonald's employee for any retail. The amount of riffraff and the amount of disrespect you get as a worker is amazing. Next is I have first day on the job at McDonald's, I got cussed out. It was not enjoyable. But you know what? I just smiled and told the young man to have a nice day. That's all you gotta do. More or less piss them off more than anything. Just by saying that. My next job. I believe I was at CVS as a cashier. From CVS. No, I'm sorry. From McDonald's, it was Target. I was a Target supervisor. That was the first time I was ever a supervisor. It was a massive headache. My Target was going through a remodeling. So we closed half our store down. People didn't know where anything was. It was an absolute nightmare. Next job. I moved to another Target, became a cashier of my own violation. I did not want to be a manager at that point. It was more of a headache. The stress required for closing was enormous. So I became a cashier. I changed targets. I just wanted to get away from the other target. I resigned a year later, and I became a CVS employee. CVS was fine. It was a drugstore. I had to deal with cigarettes. This was before they stopped selling them. I had to argue with people about IDs. That was very fun. Like I said, I personally enjoy customer service. Those people who give you a hard time, they are overshadowed by those who treat you with respect. They are overshadowed by those who are very nice and kind to you. They are understanding. Next, I was at Building Service, MCPS. I worked at a school, Churchill High School. It was considered a very uptight, rich kid type of school. It was in Potomac, Maryland. It's a very well-to-do area. I did not like it. Not because of the people, it was just the job was boring. I was building service. I did not enjoy it. I quit 2 years later. It just was not enjoyable. I kind of regret doing that because insurance was great and the pay was terrific. With that said, I also tried CVS again as a supervisor. I had to resign from there. Unfortunately, I had a customer physically attack a worker and had to restrain him. Got fired for that. That was not fun. Unfortunately, the problem with the corporate is they do not tolerate any physical violence from anyone. I worked at Safeway as well. Safeway, I became a front end manager, assistant front end manager. I took care of all the front. I was very good at it. I enjoyed that job a lot. I then became a district merchandiser slash trainer for the fresh cut department, a new department starting. So what I did was in that job is I trained a whole staff in how to cut fruits, veggies, and anything else needed. So I trained them everything. My district contained around 17 stores. I enjoyed that immensely. I drove around different stores, did what I had to do, and got to another store. The pay was good. However, I resigned. I got dropped to store level because they didn't need my position. They took my district and gave it to other districts. I resigned a few weeks later. That was about 2 years of that. Then I became Harris Teeter for 2 years just a cashier, and now I'm at Giant. Always fun. Like I said, the good chunk of my life has been in retail. It's been one of my favorite parts. And that is basically everything. That's based on my whole work ethic. I personally have tried to make it to work every day. If I did not, I have a personal policy of at least notifying my boss at least half a day in advance if necessary. And for me to have to call out, I would have to be like incapacitated or completely like not just about to die from something. So yeah. So to answer that now for a quick question, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. Y'all can do what you gotta do. I'm gonna be right back. I'll be right back. Oh man, alright. Okay, perfect. Alright, I'm back. How y'all doing? Hold up a sec. Oh, let's switch this over. Let's see, chatting. Alright, we're back. Sorry guys, I just had to get some coffee really quick. I do apologize. Unfortunately doing this does tire my throat. Yeah, where was I? I was talking about random stuff for no apparent reason. Alright, so I personally have I do have a sibling. I have a sister. She's got two kids, a boy and a girl. It's very nice kids. Unfortunately, I will not be naming them. I do have three books out. Like I said, I am a fanfic writer a bit. I love fanfiction. It's one of my favorite things to write. Um, so I love fanfiction. The issue I have with fanfiction is it's just the same as writing. You just gotta maintain it. You gotta keep doing it. I have some stories I haven't completed for like several years. It's really bad. I do have another few stories in the works for other things pertaining to my novels. I have a sequel to the third book. Really slow going on that. I have a war story. That has just been started. I gotta find files for it. I do have a comic off my first book. It's the first. Let's get it on here. Let me just get it over here. Close that. All right. Okay. Alright, give me 1 sec. I'm just going to get the link up here. So I will be getting you a link right now if you're at all interested. Matters. Okay. Also, there will be a quiz after this stream. Anyone who is interested, you can try to take it. Those who win that quiz, I will be doing you a free subscription on Tuesday, or I will be giving you a copy of my book, The Decision. I do want to see more people. That would be nice. Anyway, another thing. So, like I said, my dad was in the military. I have my grandfather. Both of them were in the military. My mom and sister are teachers. I'm like the odd man out. I've not held a single. I've held one job in the government, and it was just for 2 years. With that said, the state of the country is kind of bad right now, but we won't be going into that. My YouTube, I do a lot of streaming on YouTube. Not on YouTube, but I do post it there. Anything I say here will not be edited. It will all be posted on YouTube. I'm not ashamed of it. On to other things. I personally do like writing. My favorite writing genre for fan fiction is Naruto. I write a lot of fan fiction for Naruto. Most of it is crossover. Some of it is just Naruto by itself. My favorite crossover I have seen so far is the Justice League Naruto crossover, where he becomes the hero in the DC universe and joins forces with Justice League. I'm also a big fan of him being an anti-hero in the Justice League due to their differences of a ninja will and Batman and Superman will kill. So yeah, that's really good. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big. I like. Anything else? I was in school. I did not like English. I absolutely despised it. What changed it was the fact I was in college for a bit, and one of my professors, who was English professor, she was from Britain, very thick accent, 8 years old, nice lady, very funny. We'll get to her later. She had a project where we had to write anything. It could have been anything, a story, a autobiography, it could have been anything. It could have been an essay for whatever reason. Her thing was she wanted someone to know how the mustard caps are to get off. So you can tell what type of person she repeatedly. Oh, I am not amused. And it was on a 10-minute tirade about what she meant by that. She was a very nice lady. She was a very great professor. I miss her. She was a professor at the community college in the area. She was just really funny. I told her about my story. It was Bataan Death March. If I was aware, the Bataan Death March is where the Japanese marched a bunch of American and Filipino troops who basically committed execution. A lot of work killed on the way. I tried to humanize the Japanese in some way, put it from the perspective of a Japanese soldier. A lot of people say you cannot humanize them. You really can, though. They are just soldiers following orders. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say they were just following orders, they were basically brainwashed and believing that was what they had to do. I'm sure there was a few who despised doing that, but who had no other choice. Unfortunately, the war is written. The war history is written by victors. So when America won, they basically became victors and wrote history. Same thing with things. That's basically it. Let's see what else. Alright, so like I said, I do work on retail schedule all over the place. I try to do my schedule based off my work schedule. I do it every week. On the 19th, I'll probably be more or less not available. I will have stuff to do. More than likely, I will be busy. I have to go for a minor surgery to get a little cyst taken care of off the top of my head. I will probably be out of it for the whole day, so the 19th, I will probably not be on the stream. Anything else? I will be moving on the 30th to a new place. I will have a new kitchen stove oven. So you see me on Switch, maybe cooking something or maybe a cooking show. We'll see. Right now it's just gameplay, maybe a little Q&A session. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. Unfortunately, I thought it would be for this. So we will cancel this. You all have a good day. Let's see, we have no viewers. That's right. So you all have a good day. I will see you next time I stream, which is probably tomorrow early in the morning. I'm going in late, so we'll probably get early. You all have a good day and keep playing.